Hello, my sweet summer children. Welcome to episode 0, or what the heck is this podcast about to be? I'm your host, Bethany. I'm a professional theater artist, a teacher, a standardized patient, sewist, quilter, musician, singer, dancer, sort of general creative. And those are the things that I have had the privilege to be paid for. I have other amateur interests, including curling, the Olympic sport, not the hair kind, ballroom dancing, sociology, linguistics, anime and manga, really good high fantasy and mystery novels. I think that's most of it. This podcast will be a variety podcast. Since my own interests are so diverse, how can you expect anything else from my content? Except in cases where I warn you about a multi-part episode, you can expect each episode to stand on its own and be on any one of the given subjects above. Maybe 2, maybe 3. You know, life intersects sometimes. It's complicated. The podcast is semi-scripted, but I do like to leave some room for spontaneous sort of door handle moments. You know, when you go to the doctor and they ask you, is there anything else? And you say, no. And they turn to go, and just as they have their hand on the door, you remember something else you wanted to say. Say, doc, it's not related, but should I be worried about my toenails falling off? It's not what you came for, but the information is still going to be beneficial to you. Since the start of the plague, as I've been calling it, I've been rolling around the idea of podcasting and radio plays as a way for theater people to maintain safety and creativity in these here COVID times. As a resident of the Mid-Atlantic region, we've been in some form or other of lockdown since March, and all the theaters across Virginia, D.C., and Maryland, my primary market, closed. And that left a lot of us sort of sitting on our hands. For those of us who are introverted, it's been fine. For those of us who are extroverted, it's been less than fine. For those of us who are introverted extroverts or extroverted introverts, we don't really know how we feel about it, except that it's kind of terrible and it's kind of awesome, and both of those things are happening at the same time. I know personally, I start to get a bit zany if it's been too long since I've been in a show, and I happen to be studying theater, specifically theater in its digital forms right now in my master's program, and making and producing a radio play and a podcast as part of my coursework. After those first school-based attempts, I consider myself pretty much hooked. I hope you'll enjoy my work. I know I've enjoyed making it. As you do when you experiment with a new creative medium, I spent a lot of time learning. I am truly a teacher at heart. In fact, my 10th grade English teacher bet me a steak dinner at 801 Grand that I would be a teacher by the time I hit 30. Teenage me was unimpressed. I was sure she was wrong, and I told her I hated kids. Well, Mrs. Miller, your check is in the mail. In my Ravenclaw soul, I hope you learn at least one new thing when you listen to my podcast. Maybe at the end of the season, I'll have us go around the room and say one thing we know now at the end that we didn't know when the season started. Wouldn't that be fun? For now, welcome to my little unnamed podcast. I'll name it eventually, I think. I promise. Happy listening. Thank you to Scientific Uppercut, who provides the music for my little unnamed podcast. You can find them anywhere digital music is streamed or sold. Want to drop me a note? You can email me. My email is browngirlcreating@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram @browngirlcreating. And my dears, until next time, be brilliant.